looking at the defense, Peyton Bowen was mighty impressive in his freshman season. Some of the plays that he made, I can recall one throw down the left sideline where he basically ran the route for the receiver and picked off the ball over his head. Billy Bowman, Danny Stutzman, those guys just rang up ridiculous stats that have put them on a lot of all SEC and all America lists. Do we think that this is the best Oklahoma defense since fill in the blank?
I mean, it's definitely the best Oklahoma defense we've seen in, I'd say 10 years plus. This is fun to talk about as far as Oklahoma football goes, because, for years under the previous regime, it's been, we got to score 50 points to beat some of the big boys. Otherwise they're just going to score 70 and we're not, and, we're in trouble. But, when you look at what Brent Venables took over, they were, I think, 99th in scoring defense in 2022, 0-5 in one-score games. And then this past year, they jumped from 99 to like 44, I think, scoring defense total. And the thing that gets me most excited is they're bringing back about 80% of the starters. You mentioned Stutz and Billy Bowman. I think Billy Bowman had 6 interceptions last year, 3 of which he brought back for a touchdown. He kind of won the BYU game with that 100-yard pick six that, otherwise I think we were in a bad spot in that BYU game. And I think both of those guys were looking like they were going to leave. I know Danny Stutzman actually declared for the draft, for whatever reason he decided to come back, and we're all thankful. But then you look at what they did in addition to that. You also bring back Dejon Terry, who played a lot of good football there at DT for us. You bring in Dominic Williams out of the transfer portal from Texas Christian, who I think was probably the best DT guy you can find in the portal there to help out there. So I think just year 3 now in the system, 80% of the starters coming back. You retain Woody Washington as well, a 5th-year guy now who's been one of the best corners on this team. But then you bring in a lot of depth too with David Stone, Jaden Jackson, guys we're super excited about. Freshman D lineman. This defense, it's fun to talk about because now we don't. It's almost as if, and I think it is. I think this defensive side of the ball is better than the offensive side of the ball, and I don't think we've been able to say that since 2000.
Yeah, the biggest difference is really how much is all the returning people. It's not like on the offensive side of the ball where you're kind of relying on how the talent is being projected, and especially with the offensive line like we were talking about earlier. But with the defense, you have, as Brandon mentioned, most of that defense is returning and all have starting experience. Even going into the second unit, you've got guys that play behind Danny Stutzman and Jaren Kanik that have played good football, especially in last year in Kobe McKenzie and Kip Lewis. Kip Lewis is a guy that if Jaren Kanik doesn't progress like the coaches are looking at, Kip Lewis is someone that fans saw last year in quite a bit of the back half of the football season and were excited about because he was making a lot of big plays. And you bring back Deshaun McCullough, who was a freshman All-American at Indiana, transferred last year, first year at Oklahoma, going to a second this coming season. Can he progress? I know he was dealing with some injury stuff. So if this defense can stay relatively healthy, and I say relatively because it's football, someone's going to get banged up where they might miss a game or two throughout the season. But if this unit going even into the second unit, if those guys can stay healthy, there's plenty of depth, talent, and experience where, like Brandon said, this defense as a whole might be better than the offense. And I think all of us can say like Oklahoma offense is rarely disappointing.
Guys like Kip Lewis, as you mentioned, Kobe McKenzie, I forgot who the other one. PJ Adebore, the 5-star we got in the 2023 class. Or he's a guy that he's going to be a rotational piece, a bench piece, if you will. But he's a guy that needs to take a big jump too. I think there's 3 or 4 guys on that defensive unit that if they step up and they be the players that I think we all think they're going to be, this defense I think could be really scary.
Oklahoma fans love hearing the reference to 2000. So that was a good time right there, of course. And that was defense. Yes, absolutely.